Bartering. Bartering is massive in urban survival, less wilderness survival. So bartering is definitely within the realm of urban survival. Now, is bartering a survival essential? No. But is it directly related to survival essential? Yes. Now, I would recommend that you try everything you can to avoid bartering or potentially approaching hostile persons. But at some point, you're going to have to communicate with the outside world and normal people. You just have to have that good skill to know what type of people you're dealing with. Generally, in Australia, at least 95% of people are going to be fair dinkum, are going to be good people. We don't have a people problem here in that regard. So you're probably going to see like-minded people who want to help each other out. It's not like how it is in some parts of America where if you walk in the wrong neighbourhood, you could get shot. Most Australians, when push comes to shove and a bad situation happens, they're going to work together. I'm not saying that it's going to be rosy everywhere, but generally speaking, in Australia, that is, we're not going to have too many problems with dealing with other people. But you should still try to avoid that conflict where possible, or that potential hostility. So bartering is a must if you need to, but only if you need to. There might be medications you need to barter for. It might be water you're desperate for, and you've got no other way to get water. There could be something you need, and there could be something someone else needs, which you could barter for. So, X person has 10 bottles of water to spare, and he wants to get rid of it. And Y person, you, that is, has a whole fucking array of hunting weapons. That person may want hunting weapons and not need the water. So there you go. A pleasant swap if that's what he wants. Now, generally speaking, people won't accept things they can easily make or that they don't need. So you can't just barter stupid stuff. But it's good to have this bartering mentality that you should have some goods at hand to barter if need be. Now, things you can barter for are things like alcohol, band-aids, medical goods, vitamins, you name it. All things that people would want in a survival situation, you could barter for. Yeah, alcohol will be really something to sort for in alcohol will be something people really want in a survival situation. It's not something they should have, but there will be people out there who treasure alcohol, because if they've got all their other survival necessities procured, or at least insured, they're probably going to want to have a drink or two. If not use it for something else, God knows. But mark my words, alcohol is a massive tick on the bartering. Beer, especially. There's a lot of things that you could barter for, you could use as barter. But I'm going to go on a different trajectory slightly. So, like many of my other series, some start with an introduction, only introduction, but some films, like this one, is going to be an introduction / working video, so it's going to be both. So I'm going to show you what you should do in your spare time if everything else is insured, that is, your 4 survival essentials. So to make barter. It's that simple, to make barter. Highlight that. So you're making barter as well as getting items that could be barter. So let's look at a unique skill, for instance. Now, it's not that hard, but not everybody knows this. Oopsie daisy. Hope my phone doesn't fall. Fork. Let's just say we've got 50 of these lying around. It's a fork. Okay, we only need 2 or 3 forks. We don't need 50 of them. So let's just say we had 53 forks. We don't need 53 forks. We just need 3 forks. One for me, one for Barry, one for Gary, maybe Larry. We just need 3 fucking forks. So we can easily turn 50 of those forks into barter. Now, obviously, we could barter them as forks, but that wouldn't be very valuable. What would be valuable is if we turn these forks into frog gigs. and it's a little improvised weapons. So let me explain what I mean. So what I'm going to do very quickly is flatten this spoon. So we're going to make a frog gig. But first, we're going to go from step to step in this one. I'm actually going to make it for once. So I'm going to use this as a hammer. Flatten it, see if that works. I'm going to have to use the rock. So I'm going to flatten it with the rock. That could be flatter, but it is pretty flat. So this isn't about making precision, this is just about giving you the guidance. So I've flattened it enough to make it straighter. Now I could be pedantic, kink that out, make it straight, blah 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 blah. And you would if you're bartering it, but I'm just going to show you the point. We're going to make it all though. So I need to take these two things off. Let me get my pliers. Fucking my pants. The trusty Leatherman or multi-tool, which you should always have on you. Okay. So we're taking the two prongs in the middle off. So I'm manipulating it back and forth. You should put your glasses on just in case something flings at your eyes. That was bad form. So I'm just manipulating it back and forth so eventually it fucking comes off. I think I nearly had it. Yep, that came off. Off. Now look, you probably want to make it neater, but it does the job. So you could, to make this barterable, sellable in that situation, essentially this would be flat, straight, but I'm not going to sit there with the rock doing this for 10 minutes. It's just pointless. You'll understand anyway. So all from here to about here would be flush or straight. The parts I snapped off, you'd want, you might get a bit of clay, you might get some wood, you might get something tapered around it just to tidy it. But you don't want these sticking out either, because that won't work. So you've got to put this back, or at least try to take it off. Come on, you prick. Yeah, that came off again. So that's not too bad. It's a bit better. So you could scrape that off on rock or on a hard surface, and then tie it with tape or something that you've got around, make it look somewhat professional. And then see this? All you've got to do now is get a rock, like the ones I got before for that stove video, and just run it on it. That's to smooth the surface, that's better. fuck, it's already coming up sharp. Jesus, it's a bit right. So. Now I've taken some of it off. I just want to go in one direction. Oh, yeah, that's starting to get really sharp. You're not going to be able to get this direction unless you get something under it. But as long as you get all three directions, the bottom, top and side of each one, you'll generally get it very sharp. Yeah, fuck, that's coming really sharp. So what you're doing is you're doing this until it becomes pretty much razor sharp. It will just go straight through something. And you do it with both ends. Okay? So what you'll have are both ends being razor sharp and this being straight. With, as I said before, it tidied it a little. You've got to tidy this so it doesn't look unprofessional, or at least isn't a hazard. And you could do that by beefing it with tape, some clay over it, something. And the main thing is you want that sticking out. And then you've got to cut it, you can snap it from there. Keep your glasses on. Last thing you want is fucking metal flying at your fucking eyes. Eventually it will snap. Eventually. And then, because it's a little crooked from that, you go over it again, make it dead straight. Oh, you know what? I'll quickly do it now. There you go. It's actually somewhat acceptable. Got a frog gig head. Now, as I said, here's the tape so I can give you a small illustration. Fuck, there's going to be tapey somewhere. Note that this is not a weapon against humans, it's for hunting purposes. So that's what you've got to understand. You're not making weapons against humans. You don't need that shit in our country especially. Trying to find tape. Where the fuck is the tape? Yeah. So let's imagine that this was some sort of blue electrical tape or some other colour, so it looks somewhat fancy. It's not. This is just fucking typical office tape. But you get my point. You put it around here. Tape it around. And it will look somewhat professional. Okay? You may have some ingenious methods of doing this, but you've got your head. Okay, that's all you need. Now let me go outside and get a branch of some sort. found one immediately. Yeah. Now it should be longer, but I've just got this to illustrate my purpose. It's generally straight. Do I have a saw on this one? Hopefully I do. I thought I saw a saw on this multi-tool last time. It's a very good multi-tool, Gerber. Fucking Gabba. Okay. Where the fuck is the saw? Oh, that's a serrated knife. Some other fucking weird shit. There's no saw on this. Oh, there it is. I knew I saw a saw on this. Is that the saw? Yep. So we're going to try and cut it straight. Most of it off, yeah. Watch out you don't cut yourself when you do this. You don't need to keep your glasses on because it's just wood, dust. Well, you would if it was a high-speed machinery. Okay, so it's generally straight. Now this is the part you've got to be really careful and always clean your tool. Take all the shit off it. And you don't just do that, you also clean it thoroughly every week or two after use. Now is the time to split it softly. So this is where you've got to be a little careful. It's not that dangerous. So this is the sharp part. I like this one because it's not a long blade. It's very short and robust, so it'll be very strong. So all I've got to do is get it in the middle and hit it and tap it softly. Don't need to tap it that hard. So it's right in the middle. Tap it softly. Even the bottom broke. Yes! So just tapped it softly and I got the perfect split. Now, all I've got to do is jimmy this here. Oh, yeah. Frog gig. Okay. Now, what you do is you get best way to do this is to use tape and not the tape I'm using. So you'd use very strong electrical tape, or you can even use lace, or some small cordage. But if you're going to make it for people, you'd make it look, you do it in a professional way, and you'd use very strong electrical tape, not the shit type. You'd do that. Over and over again until it's very sturdy and doesn't move. So look at it, that's how simple it is to turn something into barter. Now, this on its own will probably be worth fuck all. Okay, this is the beauty of this video. Okay, I'm not saying this is the cream of the crop. This is what you want to strive for in bartering. The whole idea of this video is to say that if you've got nothing else and you've got shit lying around, this is what you turn it into, because nobody's going to want fucking 50 forks. They're going to look at you and go, fuck off, eat your ass or something. But if you cleverly turn items into barterable items, I highlight that word, barterable, then if you've got 50 of these and you make them properly, someone may want to swap you a box of Band-Aids for them, or a few bottles of water. They may not know how to make this shit and think, fuck, that's very clever. We've got 50 fucking things to either shoot at a rabbit, to go fishing with, because you can attach these to very long things, and they're strong. Very long sticks. They can be shot from an arrow, and you don't need a feather. So they can be shot from an arrow. They can be shot from a particular. There's no name for it. It's pretty much a bow, but it's a thing you attach and pull back. So yeah, it can be shot from a bow and arrow. It can be shot if you make it properly. It can be shot from a improvised type of bow. It can be thrown as a spear if you know how to make spears, but it can also be used as a prod. That's the frog gig is mainly used as a prod, so it's to stab it into something. So if you stalk, you're probably not going to get very close to a rabbit, but if you get close enough to an animal and you prod it with this and maybe a stiffer stick, it's probably going to go into it and kill it. So again, and when you use it as a prodding thing, these are good for fishing, small animals, amidst other things. And these become razor sharp, especially if you take it lower. So it'll go in to start that far, but once it gets in, then you probably get it in a bit more too with force. So you'll probably get it in that far, and for a small animal, that's very effective. So in a survival situation, next to a forest, next to a place where there's plenty of fish, crabs, all sorts of things, someone may want 50 of these. They're probably not going to barter you much for one or two of them, but if you turn around and say, hey mate, I've got 50 of these, you're fucking laughing, you'll be able to catch food forever, then they'll think, okay, I could probably make that myself, but it saves me a day or a few hours of making it, and I've got this, I don't need this. Fuck, yeah, I'll take 50 of them. Here, have this box of fucking Band-Aids, or have this fucking small 200 mils of alcohol that I probably won't drink. Yeah, that's very smart. I'll take that, mate. Thank you. And that's the whole idea. Okay, I'm not saying this is the cream of the crop in bartering. It isn't. If somebody came to me with that, I'd be like, nah, mate, I'll probably make it myself. But there are a lot of people who won't. There are a lot of people who even go, who aren't good with time management like myself, and will go, fuck yeah, that's a couple of hours out of my day saved. So yeah, I'll take that. Here, have this, mate. Fucking on your way. So that's the easiest fucking thing to make. Absolutely easy. Fuck, it's even got some flex. Come here, cunt. Oh my god, this is funny. But no, it's a highly effective hunting tool for small animals when made properly. And even this, at the moment, I'm playing around with it. It's a sturdy stick. This would, if it was longer, it would definitely be... Oh, actually, no, I can prod the crabs with this. So if I go out to the ocean with this now, I'll be able to take on crabs. Yeah, easy. Bang, press down, crab is mine. There's a crab. Rather than grabbing it with your hands, which can get dangerous. Yeah, a lot of people are good at hunting crabs with their hands. They know where to grab and all that sort of stuff, but every now and again it can clip you. And it won't be nice if a large crab clips your fingers and takes it off. So this is very good. You can even, quickly take a stab at the fish if you've got a snorkel. So I'm sure you understand my sentiment. And the point is, when you start making stuff like this en masse, when you make a lot of them, you get this production mindset, this bartering mindset. You'll be able to, if you know how to knit, and I know how to knit, I could actually make clothes. It's not the best, but I can make them. If I had spare cloth around, I could probably make a few jumpers. I could probably make 10 or 20 jumpers. My grandmother, all she did when I was a kid was fucking knit and sew. So naturally I used to watch her and see how she'd run the seam, how she'd do all this shit with sewing. She's a fucking professional. She could have actually made a clothing brand. There aren't too many people who know how to sew like my grandmother. So I know how to make jumpers. I know how to make this. I know how to make that. And the whole point is, not I know how to make it, but you want to make useful things that people will want. People will want clothes. People may want this, but they won't want this as much as clothes. I'm just highlighting what you would do with something completely useless in a survival situation. 50 forks. What the fuck are you going to do with it besides make this? Nothing. So there are a lot of things you can do to improvise that people would want and people would barter for.
You've got to have that mindset in a full blown out urban survival situation. Okay, because people do, in those situations, people left, right, and centre go up to people and say, "Oh, mate, oh, have you got this?" No, they go to someone else. "Oh, mate, have you got this?" "Yeah." "Oh, I need it." "Okay, you need it, but I need this." And then that's when you can start to negotiate, etc. They may have a list of what they want for that, and you may say, "Yeah, I have that," or "I could offer you this." Okay, so you've got to be very clever with how you approach those bartering situations, which is a skill in itself. How to close a sale, how to be subtle, how to raise, how to mention stuff you have they might want, and so forth. So you've got to be clever about it. So again, as much as this was about making this and showing you how to make use of anything laying around, this was also an introduction, and you've got to understand that bartering is something you do only if you must, even in our country. Now, again, you won't find much of a problem with Australians. You may even find you're most certainly going to find amusing and entertaining people in such a situation, which is good. But you still want to be military disciplined, and no, we only deal with potentially hostile situations if we must. Somebody may need meds, somebody may need a bandage, clothes, anything, something essential. And that's when you go out of your way and say, "Hey mate, I'm just this dickhead and I don't have much to offer you, but do you have this?" Yeah, I have this. "Oh sweet, I've got 50 of these. Do you want them? You mind swapping?" So that's the whole idea. Okay, again, your survival plan doesn't depend on bartering, and you don't barter unless you must. But when you do, you've got to have a good bartering plan. You've got to have a good take on how to offer barter. So I'll make some more videos, and not many actually, maybe one or two more at most, and it will be high value. It'll just be strictly on high value items as opposed to how to engineer anything that you've got laying around. So the high value items will be things like fucking grog, medical stuff, things like that, vitamins. They're high value items that people would want and that people will almost certainly swap for, even cigarettes. So you've just got to use your brain. And I'll make those videos. It's a very simple series. It's not rocket science. You get my drift.